Randy's up next. He says, hey, SM, what are your thoughts on auto blogging? Is this a viable strategy to generate traffic and help with ranking primary money sites, specifically AI-powered auto blogs that paraphrase different content using AI and then combine different content together like videos? Last I looked at it, people were saying these blogs were penalized for duplicate content and wouldn't rank. Also, is there any potential copyright issues with this approach? Well, if you're, I'm not an attorney, but as far as the copyright issue stuff, if you're rephrasing, it's just like using spinners. You know, as long as it's over a certain it's under a certain threshold of duplicate, then there shouldn't be any issues with that. Example, there's Copyscape and some other different services out there that will show you. And I believe as long as it's under, I think it's like 35% or something like that, it should be fine. But again, I'm not an attorney and I don't do much of that. So I can't really answer that question definitively. Can auto blogs work? Yeah, they can, especially if they're built correctly. Damon Nelson has RSS Master technology that builds some beautiful auto blogs. I mean, stuff that you would never know in a million years are auto blogs. I mean, it's just amazing. So, you know, if they're done well, they can be a viable strategy for sure. They can be a good strategy to build like essentially a private blog network sites just for SEO purposes. In other words, for backlinks. If they're done well, they can be used for that. They can also be used because if they're done well, they can start to generate their own traffic, which makes them that much more powerful, right? Even more powerful is if you've got a site with real genuine traffic, as opposed to just using it for SEO purposes, you know, for backlinks and stuff. What I'm saying is if you do it correctly, you can turn the auto blogs into assets that can be used for directing traffic, for backlinks, for running ads on. So like creating your own ad network of auto blogging sites. I think that's what Damon's trying to do with his RSS master sites, and his group is right now is create his own ad network. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with auto blogs if they're done right. That's the whole point. Like you can do some real shitty auto blogs that probably wouldn't do anything, may even cause some harm if you're using them to link to other stuff. But if you do it right, then they should, you know, they absolutely can be beneficial. So I don't know if that answered your question, but you got an opinion on that, Marco?
Yeah, well, it's not opinion. We're showing it as a case study in the Heavy Hitter Club, where a mass page build with an auto blog is, I'm looking at the analytics right now. It's getting 600 users per day average. Sessions are at a 5.4K for the week, 35% bounce rate, auto blog, mass page build. And the session duration is 15 minutes. That's how long a person, so you're talking 600 users a day spending on average 15 minutes per person on the website. So does this work? Fuck yeah. Who, like when they say, people say that they won't rank or that you get penalized, like who are these idiots? Because I can't call it anything, but all you have to do is test it and see how well it works, how well auto blogging works, how well mashing works, how well so-called duplicate content works. Not that entity-tuned content doesn't work that much better. It does. It works fantastically well. It works phenomenally well, much better than taking the same content and just publishing it over and over and over again. When you add your own, when you tune for the entity, you get much better results. But how much better can you get than 600 people on average per day spending 15 minutes each on average on your website and taking action? Think about that. A person spends 15 minutes on your website. They're really interacting with the content that you're giving them, and they're going to take action. If you're running AdSense, you're going to make more money from the ads that are being served to these people. They will take action. This is Autoblog. And there's all kinds of tools. You said Damon Nelson, Lisa Allen, what's his name? Jeremy is trying to come up with an RSS masher. There's plugins that will do it. Now, here's the problem. And we saw that recently with someone, and I'm not going to mention the name, where the person published content that belonged to a newspaper. And the newspaper filed a claim for a takedown. The other person refused to take it down and then got sued. So it can happen. But how you avoid this is by fucking complying. They come and warn you. Please take this down. It's ours. Take it the fuck down. What the hell is your problem? They're giving you a warning. If you don't take it down, we're going to see you. No, you're going to thumb your nose at, right? Flip them off and say, no, I'm going to use this because I feel like it. Don't do that shit. You don't want to get yourself into legal problems like that. But does it work? It works phenomenally well. There's no such thing as duplicate content. There's absolutely no such thing. There's the original copy, the master copy, and then there's copies of the master. Proper attribution, and you're fine if you're using a copy of the original. It's the foundation of IFTTT, giving proper credit where credit is due. How long have we been doing that? It seems like it's almost a decade that we're going on in IFTTT and publishing our own content and having it work. Copyright issues, yes, but they will file a claim and tell you to take it down. So take it down. But you can get really good results, man. We're doing that in the Heavy Hitter Club. We're showing it. As a matter of fact, mass page building is coming up. That's the next set of webinar. We're going to show exactly how it was done.
And remember that you can also, there's the DMCA, there's thresholds for like what would constitute copyright infringement. If you're summarizing other people's content or just producing like republishing essentially a snippet, like, a couple of sentences or a paragraph or something like that, and then you cite the source. When you can do that, you can set up like with Autobloggers and stuff to where they're all no follow external links or no follow to specific links. And that's a way to, cite the source. And again, you can still republish like snippets that you've extracted from the the whole document or the whole page that you're, or content that you're syndicating. And that's typically will suffice as long as you're citing the source. So it's not like if you're republishing the full text of somebody's content and you're not citing the source, especially, then that's when you can get into trouble. And even if you are citing the source, you don't want to republish entire texts of other people's content. It's not that you can't do it, because you can, and you can likely get away with it, but sometimes you will receive DMC violation or DMCA violation notices, right? Or somebody will request a takedown for you to remove it from the site. I had that happen before years ago when I was doing a lot of two-tier networks or multi-tiered syndication networks. And I talk about using other people's RSS feeds or RSS feeds from related content sources to trigger out the second-tier networks so that you're not leaving a footprint. And so I would, occasionally I would get an email from a blog out there that a blog owner that would state like, hey, take this down, even though we would have because of the IFTTT applets, we would have a link back, a citation link back to the original source, but we were republishing full content, right? And so, again, I got away from doing that anyway. But if you were to just do like the art, and remember, you can select, and this is up to the web, whoever's managing the website, you can select RSS full post or full text or summary. So I would intentionally go look for RSS feeds that would only produce summaries in the RSS feed as opposed to full text. So that was kind of a way to mitigate any potential copyright infringement, right? And so there's ways around that kind of stuff. But as Marco said, using Autoblogs, especially if you got rephrasers or paraphrasers, or you're using spinners. And remember, that's originally why spinners were generated. I don't recommend using spinners, but they still do have their place, I suppose. But there's better tools out there like AI assisted rephrasing tools or paraphrasing tools that can take original content and rephrase it in such a way that it becomes unique. And then you don't even have to cite it anyways. So, ethically, you probably should, but up to you. It's up to you to decide what you want to do with that. And by the way, Walt, I saw that. Thank you. I was taking a look at that page. I guess Sea-Doo does give you some sort of advertising revenue for parking domains. Cool, which is interesting.
I just hate when I see this, and I just looked at it again, and it just pisses me off. People are saying that these blogs are penalized for duplicate content and won't rank. I can show you rankings number one after number one after number one after number one with so-called duplicate content that won't rank. holy crap, who are these people and what are they doing?
They're regurgitating shit that they read on Search Engine Journal or whatever.
Or that they heard.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say that they heard that somebody said.